The last thing I want to show you how to do in AliExpress is course information. So you click the class course information menu. And there's a lot of stuff you can do. Any information you need to know about a class, you can find it here. So if you need to know where the class is, what days it's offered, what the CRN is, who's registered, all that information is listed here. And I use this a good bit for a lot of different things. The first thing is just to make sure you're in the right term, and I know I am already because I changed it to spring 2012. The main thing I use this for is to compare my list on SkyDrive with my roster here in AliExpress. The list on AliExpress is the official list, so it's showing me every student who has actually gone in during their priority registration time and signed up for a class. So I'm going to show you how to do that first. It's class roster by course number. So you do need to know the CRN. The CRN stands for course registration number, and every course is given a different number. So you need to know that number first. And I'm going to use one of our honors classes, 11565. And this is actually the introductory psychology class for honors. And when you pull up the roster, it's giving you a lot of different information. It's giving you the CRN. It's giving you the time and the day of the class, where it's located, as well as the currently enrolled student number and all of their names. This is really good because when you go to look at your SkyDrive list, you need to make sure the numbers match as well as all the students' names match. So this is where you do that information. It's giving you every student listed in the class, as well as a photo roster. Down here below, you can click photo roster. So just to make sure it's the student you're thinking of, if you want to see their picture for any reason at all, here's all of their photos. That's mostly for faculty members so they can learn who their students are. But if you're curious for any reason at all, there it is. So this is how you double check your SkyDrive list to the official list, is to go into AliExpress and then class roster by CRN. Another thing that I do quite a bit in the class course section is to help students find classes that are either opened or that they want to know if they're open or closed or not. And the way that I do this is by search for course sections, and I can use either the multiple subject or the single subject. The only real difference is how many courses you're allowed to put in at the same time. So if you have a student coming to you and they want to know when all of the chemistry classes are going to be, and they're only interested in section 1212, then you can use the single because you're only looking for one class. But if you have a student who doesn't know what they want to take and they want to know about biology, psychology, anthropology, English, all at the same time, you definitely want to use the multiple course section. Let's just make it easy and try the single course section. So it's going to ask you for the subject code and the course number. And the subject code is basically the abbreviation. Let's use math. And I'm interested in calculus. I want to know every single calculus course being offered in the spring semester. So I'm going to use Math 1190. And now here's the difference between these two. If you click Open Only, it's going to give you only the sections that are still available for students to sign up. If the maximum amount of students have signed up for that class, it's not going to show up on the Open Only list. I never use the Open Only list because the honors classes will never show up under Open Only. Every honors class is marked as closed because we close the class and mark it at 0 seats available because we personally trapper in every single student. So they have to get permission from us to be in the class. So I want to make sure I get the whole list. So I pull up all. And this will give you a list now of every single calculus class being offered for the spring 2012 semester. And it gives you all the important information, the CRN, the time, the day, which section it is, who's teaching it, how many seats are in the class, how many of those seats are still available, and where it's located. So lots of good information on this page. And the honors class is listed. It's down here below. And as you can see, it's marked a little bit differently than all the rest of the classes. First, its section is given an H, an H01. And then instead of having a maximum amount, it's marked as 0 because we mark all of our classes as 0 seats available, and then everybody that enters the class is a negative number because they're technically over the limit because we marked it as 0. So basically all this means is that there's 21 people actually registered and signed up ready to go for this class. So that's another thing that you can do with AliExpress, and this does come in handy mostly for advising. So if you have a student who just needs to know when certain classes are offered and who's teaching them, you can definitely check this list.